realistically, boat lending is for personal recreational loans. And if you want to charter the boat, put it into a management company, and still use it a lot, banks like that type of use better. They're not, it's not that they don't like moorings and sunsail. It's basically they don't like how those boats are being used, because you're generating revenue for those companies, not for personal use, and to offset the cost of some management, small charter revenue. So again, if anybody wants to talk to me a little bit more about charter financing, one-on-one, I'd be happy to do it. I finance a lot of charter boats, but again, it's a difficult process. So it's available, but it's tough to find. It's a simple process. We're all here to help everybody get into a boat, keep boats, in the marketplace and selling and being built and all of that stuff. But it's not as easy as walking in and saying, I want a boat. Where do I sign up? We have banks that will do live aboard. What they're looking for is previous borrowing experience. Have you had a mortgage? Do you own a house now? Would you be selling? Do you have to sell your house to get into the boat? Where your income comes from as you're living aboard. So I do live aboards all the time and very successfully. But the chicken and egg happens very often too. And in certain areas, I remember I did some shows out in California a few years ago, and I was filling in for a rep out there, and people would come up to the booth and say, wow, I can buy a boat for $150,000 and the starter home is $500 out here, so I'll live on a boat and save up money and buy a house. Well, that's not the way the banks like to think. They like to think you've already got the house or you've got an investment property, you're going to go off and see the world, and that you have something to come back to. They like to think that you've established yourself, but it's not a criteria. So as long as you've had previous borrowing experience before and had mortgage, good payment history, and you have some assets, it's really not a problem. I've just recently done 2 boats for people that are currently live aboards that bought another live aboard boat. And that was interesting because they had boats for 8, 10, 12 years and lived aboard very successfully, had good investments, they were seeing the world. And the banks, they had to look at it and say, well, they are good risk because they've proven to be good risk. But again, not all banks will do it. It's a matter of finding the right bank. That's fine. It's always tough. I get so many young people, they want to live aboard a boat because they don't want a house yet, and the housing has become so expensive that you can find a nice used 38, 40-foot boat for under $100,000 and live a pretty nice life in a town like Annapolis or in the Caribbean or anywhere along the city with some moderate climate. But oftentimes, if you haven't had previous borrowing experience, and buying a $50,000 BMW doesn't count, so it's one of those, again, chicken and egg things. So if you've owned a home or you own a home and had that is very good. If you buy a boat today, a brand new boat today, in 5 years, you will definitely be able to sell it. It's a catamaran for what you paid for it or more than what you paid for it. And I see it all the time. And it doesn't really matter what one it is. You're going to be able to sell it for what you paid for it or more than what you paid for it. The demand for catamarans is growing. There's not that many out there. And you can say, well, there's thousands of them out there. Well, yeah, and there's millions and millions of monohulls, both sail and power. So the catamaran market is growing, and you can't call a boat an investment. Nobody, you'd like to think it's an investment. It's really not. But it's still a boat, and it's still a depreciating item. On the other hand, if you buy a catamaran, you're going to be safe. And I tell people too, buy what you like, but buy what's popular in the marketplace. Because you want to buy something, especially your first time in, buy something that there's a lot of like kind. You might fall in love with a boat that's a new model and it's really the latest and greatest. How strong is that company? Are they going to be there in 3 or 4 years? Are they going to have service and warranty follow-up when you're out cruising? But if you're buying your major manufacturers or a company, even if it's a new model, something with a strong backbone, you're going to always be safe. And if you're getting into your first catamaran, like I said, know that you're going to probably get into another one because you're going to find that first boat, even though you may think it's your ultimate boat, and it could be, again, find something that's like kind. All these manufacturers have owners associations, they have rendezvous, they have they have their blogs now, and if you think that you like a certain brand, get to know the people that have them. People love to talk about their boats. They love to, probably the biggest tight-knit group I've seen are the Manta owners. Those people are like amazing. They have a really great group of fellow owners. They love to share their information. Those boats don't come on the open market very much because they sell amongst each other. People will say, oh, I've been wanting a Manta. Here, take my name when you're ready to sell it. Call me because that's what I want. So they haven't made that many of them, but they're a really nice boat. And again, a very loyal group. The Lagoons, again, globally, they're everywhere. Good product, Fountain Peugeot. I mean, they're all good boats. But again, buy what's, for your first boat, buy what's popular in the marketplace and something boat stuff, again, be careful that the builder has good reputation. We've seen recently some builders, have some hiccups and some problems. If you want to talk further about, pricing and down payments and schedules and what the builders want, feel free to call me at any time. I'd be happy. I'm very familiar with their production pricing schedules. They typically want a deposit. They want verification, additional money when the engine goes in, when the decks go on. That's part of the financing process because we don't do construction loans. None of us do. So you have to come up with the interim money. But when the boat's done and it's physically there, we can fund the money you want to borrow and the builder will pay you back the difference. But again, I've seen recently some builders have some hiccups and people lost some money. So you want to make sure you're working with somebody that has a good reputation. And again, for a first boat, you don't need to go build a custom boat. I mean, maybe you do, but again, if you're just looking to get into this, it's a new thing for you. There's lots of nice good used boats out on the marketplace. And I think if the market had right now 250 catamarans under $200,000, they'd be gone in a month because there's not that many in that price range. You're looking more like 250 to 350 is where the entry level good catamarans are. You occasionally will find some of the older leopard 38s and Tobago 35s and 37s out there. But again, they're the type of boat that go from friend to friend. Somebody says, "Here, take my card when you're ready to sell the boat. Call me, and if I'm not ready to buy it, I know someone."